Welcome to Drinking Bros, presented by GhostBed.com.
Yeah, welcome to Drinkin' Bros Kids France Press edition.
Wait, is there something in your France Press?
What do you got here?
I'm trying the pina colada.
Pina colada is the greatest seltzer of all time.
I like how out of all of us, you're the only one with a real. You're a comedian. You're still the only one with a real job.
Well, he's
that
got to
has shit
do
to do
shows
later.
tonight. We don't.
I'll be blacked out
at
by
11
4 p.m.
a.m. Welcome, Joe DeRosa. How are you?
How are you? I'm
you,
very
sir?
tired. I couldn't sleep last night.
Are you? Does this make you? How do you feel about that?
I like it.
Yeah.
You want me to go lower?
I could have.
You want me to go lower?
You want to go two-hand
No,
Indian burn style right there,
that
Joe?
makes me feel like
I can
you're
just go
behind
right
me.
in there.
Yeah.
And telling me it's okay.
You want me to ghost you? You want to Patrick Swayze you?
I would have liked that, man. That
Bring
would've
me a
helped this
vase.
morning.
Bring me a vase that we can mold together, some form of pottery.
We actually loaned out our kiln.
Did we?
Yep.
Who's got it?
I don't know.
I'd like to make a T-shirt that says Val Kilmer on it, and it's just a kiln with his face on it.
I want to make a
a good
T-shirt
idea,
that says Patrick Swayze can't dance, and then right below it says because he's dead.
Oh, because he's dead. Shit, dude.
That's a
R.I.P.
good idea, too.
R.I.P. A lot of death today.
I guess you could make-
lot of death.
Oh,
today.
yeah, Robbie
well.
Knievel.
Yes, Robbie Knievel
Oh, really?
died.
I didn't know.
Lisa Marie Presley died. Jeff Beck died.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Jeff Beck of the
Jeff
Yardbirds,
Beck
right?
Do you not fucking read, bro?
I, at all
been busy today.
costs, try to not read any news or social media. Like, it's not good for me.
Yeah.
No, I get it.
The quality of life must be amazing.
Well, you don't know anything.
Yeah. You're like, oh, what?
Yeah,
And then every day's a
don't know-
surprise.
I don't know anything.
What happened? Illegal classified documents in a Corvette? What?
Dude,
Jeff
that
Beck died?
fucking happened to me. I was in my hotel lobby last night. My buddy Guillaume came to meet me, and CNN was on. Anderson Cooper was on in the lobby, and I looked up and I go, "What's this classified documents thing?" And he was like, "Apparently they found something in Biden's office."
October 30th, he's walking in.
3 different locations now.
October 30th, 2001, he's walking into a Halloween party dressed as one of the towers. They're like, hey, you didn't see?
Yeah, do you know what day it is?
Somewhere out there, there's video of him just walking around at J6. And he doesn't know what's going on. He's just like walking around eating nachos and shit. Like, hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
you
at
may-
Firefest.
Did you get an invitation?
No.
Oh, damn.
No.
Have we ever
Man.
met anybody that had an invitation?
Well, you had to be an influencer. How's your socials?
My socials are actually pretty strong.
Okay.
I have a gentleman that does a very nice job.
Great. So you could have, like, do you feel slighted that you weren't invited? Because that's all they did.
They were not strong when that happened.
Okay,
I still wouldn't feel slighted. I don't think I'm at that. I think you got to be in like hundreds of thousands of.
Of followers?
I think, right?
Yeah, and I believe you also have to be an insufferable cunt.
Yes.
Yeah,
If I'm
well,
not the other
that-
thing,
that
too.
part I got.
Yeah.
Every third photo on your Instagram, you have to be on some sort of boat.
Yes. Or you have to look like you could be rented by a Saudi prince to go over
There you go.
to Dubai
Yeah.
and then do a bunch of fucked up shit.
There's got to be
yeah,
some
yeah.
Saudi princes out there that are into dudes like us, right?
I would imagine.
I mean, they're not allowed, but
What about let's pull this to reality. What about the Saudi prince that is like he knows he's much richer than all these other Saudi princes, but doesn't know how to access what his buddies are? He's like, I don't get it. How do they keep doing this? I'm
doesn't-
more wealthy
Yeah.
than all of them.
he doesn't have a plug, is what you're saying. Yeah. He's a fucking nerd.
I did get a request though for Dan Holloway over here. Somebody it was I couldn't understand the name. Whatever that is, had written me and they said, I want this guy to stomp out live mice with his bare feet in front of me, and I'll fly him to Dubai. Yeah. And I said, well, here's his Instagram. You should probably tell him.
$1,300 was the
yeah,
price tag on
$1,300.
That's not enough.
And one World Cup event, he said, but it was a lower round game.
Which
How many
event?
mice?
I mean, honestly, if I had gone to a World Cup event in Qatar, I would be executed by now.
He
for sure.
wanted to play the World Cup on a big screen while you talked bad about Bono for an hour.
I could do that. Anybody could do that
Easily,
You don't even
dude.
have to talk bad about Bono. Just fucking play reels of him talking, and just point
Favorite
to the
U2
screen.
song, go. Other than the album you got for free on Apple.
One does not exist. I would probably say Desire. Was
There
that
you
the
go.
one from Rattle?
That was the one, yeah.
I don't think I can name a YouTube song. Or
Desire.
YouTube song.
I'm with you on
I used to
Desire.
really
Sunday
like that
Bloody
song.
Sun. Everybody knows
Yeah, okay,
Bloody
Sunday
Sunday,
Bloody
yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah, like I can't deny how good. Actually, I used to really like that song, Lemon. Zootopia, whatever the fuck it was called.
Oh, Zootopia, yeah.
Zooropa.
Oh, Zooropa, that's right.
Yeah.
That whole era kind of escaped me.
What about
for U2.
Do they know it's Christmas after all?
Oh, that's the greatest
So
one.
he wrote,
yeah,
Bono
you're right,
wrote a song
you're right.
for Africa.
Yeah.
And it's
Yes.
Do They Know It's Christmas After All? Well, the ones that were
That's-
colonized by Europeans do, I guess. Right?
Yeah.
Well, Bono's he's interesting because he's one of those guys that went from overnight being the coolest guy ever to like the guy that everybody hates.
Yeah.
Like, and it's hard to. It's hard. I'm trying to think of other musician examples of that, but they're out there.
Well, he did it
But,
before
like-
it was like the in vogue thing to do. Now it's
The
all
Canadian rock
celebrities.
band. Who is that?
Like, dude, when they gave that
Rush?
No.
No, I know who you're
The
talking
one
about.
everybody,
Bare
you know-
Naked Ladies?
No, the picture. Look at this.
Oh, Nickelback.
Yeah,
Nickelback.
Nickelback.
No, they didn't
they
go
love
woke.
being. They
Yes,
love.
they
Being
love it,
Nickelback.
but they also the internet loves to
But
hate
when
them.
they
Right.
when YouTube gave that free iTunes record out,
Yeah.
'cause it was pre-streaming. It was just it was back in pay for
You bought a
iTunes
phone and
days.
you had an album.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that was the album after they were still considered awesome. Like it was like a follow-up.
Yeah.
They had not. It wasn't like they had fallen off and 3 albums were duds, and then everybody was like, "Fuck you, you too." It was the follow-up to a hit album.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody was like, "Oh, fuck you." Like,
Dude, what if
it
that was like the
over.
greatest
That's why Apple-
fire in history?
But
like
here- Apple paid so much money for it because they were on fire at the time,
Yes.
and it was like, all right, great, we're catching them
let's,
at a,
but
at a
let's
hot
get the
period.
biggest band ever,
Yep.
and we're gonna offer it, and then it just backfired on
How
them.
many-
Like,
how many-
Fuck you.
How many
Yeah.
people decided to buy an iPhone because of that, though? It can't be very many, frankly.
No,
Do you think anybody? Do you think that tipped the scale for anybody?
No.
That would have been the point from Apple's perspective, is to get people.
I think there's
like, hey, you're an
too far
Android
of a
user or
gap
whatever. Here, come
on the price.
There's
where
no
you're-
way.
You're not buying something to get something for $13. You're not buying something for $1,000 to get something for $13.99 free.
Right.
Apple would have been a way stronger promotion, and they could have afforded it. Would have been everybody that buys an iPhone immediately gets a $9.99 gift certificate for iTunes to buy your favorite
Yeah.
record.
Yeah,
day
that
one.
would have been
At your
Like,
choice.
That would, yeah.
Your
At your choice.
choice.
Assuming that everybody
One free
loves
record.
U2
Yeah.
was a mistake on Apple's part, where it's just like, man, there's a lot of people who don't like U2.
Just the idea that people would get to choose, like from what you're saying. Apple still gets a 30% cut of that $9.99 that people are spending on the
Yeah.
artist album on
Yeah.
the first
Yeah,
platform. You're double dipping
it would
at
have
that
just
point.
it would have been incredible. That U2 download, that was the moment.
come.
That was like when David Byrne went from being Talking Heads David Byrne to solo artist David Byrne.
Sure.
It's like there's a moment where it's like, dude, you are the coolest fucking thing on planet Earth. To, dude, you are the lamest, whitest
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Like you're like what I would say. Like solo David Byrne is what aging liberals dance to. And they're like, it's just so soulful. And you're like,
In the water when she
stop it.
was, when she was.
It's kind of like
That's what I with the iPhone. That was like
Yeah.
it was so painfully white.
so
You're like,
stupid.
come on.
It's like
Yeah.
Tom Morello went from telling people to tell the man to go fuck themselves to playing at the DNC.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where you're
Which is
just
kind of a
like,
weird turn.
hey,
I mean, I know
dude.
people get weird when they get old and shit, but damn, man, you're a musician. What are you doing?
I think,
Yeah,
but I think
yeah.
a lot of it is with money, and I think it's U2 included, where you get so rich that you become out of touch of what people want, and you think that everybody's like, oh my god, dude, they love me. Why wouldn't they love a free album? That would be an amazing deal. So there's just nobody behind the scenes tapping you on the shoulder, going, hey man, that's going to be an awful idea and probably kill your career.
Yeah, it's when you hit a level of success where you're creating and existing in such a vacuum that everything now is theoretical. Nothing is practical. Nothing is applied.
Everything's theory.
Yeah.
Everybody around you, it's all theoretical.
That's why it's so
You know,
good to
It's
be.
this could. You should.
Yeah.
This
Well,
could.
it's like that. It's getting trashed. That Velma cartoon. It's like I don't have a fucking problem with a Scooby Doo with different whatever. I don't give a shit that like Daphne's Asian, whatever the fuck. I don't care.
As long as
Yeah,
she
she
still
was
got the-
scissoring somebody.
as long
and,
as
yeah,
she's
and the
still
thing,
got
yeah.
the,
Yeah,
the heavies, I'm fine with it.
Well,
right?
Yeah.
they show her almost
Yeah.
naked in the first episode. And you're like, guys, it's supposed to be a high school. This is a little weird.
And it's for
like,
kids.
where is the?
Yeah.
Well, it's apparently not. It's an adult.
Well, I understand that, but if you go through
Right.
the Scooby Doo franchise,
Well, yeah, then that's-
me personally, no lie, it's a true story. So I popped down with my son, and we're scrolling through it, and I didn't. Hey, by the way, I did not know. So we turned it on. shell shocked, immediately fumbling for the thing. Oh my God, I can't watch this with my son. And then I went back and I just read a review on Variety, and then the explanation was there, and I was like, a little heads up would have been great about that.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. It's like you're and like this is a thing where like I saw stories. I guess I do read a little news, but like I saw stories about like how the Rotten Tomatoes audience score was down to 8%, single digits, that's fucking really low.
Yeah.
But and I was like, huh. So here comes the whole thing where they say the fans are assholes and racist, whatever.
Right.
And then I looked and I was like, God damn, the critic score is at 50%.
Right.
And like female critics are saying this is bad. And I was like, so this is just flat out bad. And it's like, yeah, because they're creating in a vacuum. Nobody is going, guys, hold on, let's fucking think for a second.
It's why it's good to be a comedian on the road, because your buddies will call you a piece of shit if you're acting like a piece of shit.
And you get to see the reactions
Yes.
of
Of
everybody
people.
else in all these other cities. So you're not in a vacuum of LA and New York.
Right.
You get to go out to fucking Kansas or Missouri, and it's like, all right, well, what do these people find funny? Because it's a totally
They
different
find
audience.
way more things funny.
Cows and shit.
Yeah.
By the way, the only other movie that has an 8% on Rotten Tomatoes is Cats.
Oh shit!
That's the only other ever?
No,
we did a live.
I wanted to
watch
get
of
a
Cats.
quick dig at Cats real quick.
He's a big James Corden fan.
It's impressively bad.
So it's horrific.
It's impressively bad.
The only James Corden fan I believe is Ellen DeGeneres, right?
He left.
It's just a mirror of themselves.
Correct.
They're both cunts.
They're the only ones left. But as far as Velma goes, I think Variety summed it up best in one sentence. They were like, "What was the point of it being made in the first place?"
It's animated euphoria almost.
No, I think what it is you have some executives that are trying to cash in on
IP.
They're trying to cash in on IP, but they're trying to cash in on my and his age group.
Yes.
Like born from 80 to 85, they want a nostalgia throwback, people with credit cards that will actually convert.
And kids, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
It's a nostalgia play, I think.
Yeah.
I have a movie podcast called We'll See You in Hell, and it's me and my buddy Pat Walsh. And we talk about this a lot on the show when we review these reboots and things. We're like, so perfect example, Grease, Rise of the Pink Ladies, which is this prequel series to Grease that's coming out.
Right.
Guys, who the fuck is this for?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it's a show designed for teenage girls, and it's like, teenage girls don't know what the fuck Grease is.
No,
Yeah.
they don't.
Like, this is not a like, if you're going to try to cash in on the Grease property, make something for people in their goddamn 60s to
Right.
watch
Shit, yeah.
Grease.
Right.
Like, who the fuck is this for? Like, and I thought it was a good show, but when they did Haunting of Hill House, the Netflix series,
Yeah.
it's so far removed from the original, the source material. It's like, guys, I don't even understand why you're calling it Haunting of Hill House anymore. Like,
there's just no need.
like
Just
what
make up
80-year-old lit freak is going,
yeah.
ooh, Haunting of Hill House?
I can't wait.
Can't wait for that one.
Yeah, like,
unless
it's weird.
and then you're advertising it on social media, not AM talk radio.
Yeah,
We don't get
exactly.
it. Nobody watched it. Like, wow.
Yeah, so, and look, here's the thing. That show was a success enough. Like, that guy got to make 2 more, and he's doing the 3rd one now or whatever. But, like, at the same time, it's like that would have been the case no matter what you called it. I just don't get this concept of, like, we have to utilize these properties because then they rushed out that fucking Child's Play remake.
Oh, it's terrible.
And it was terrible.
Awful.
You don't want to read my screenplay for a new Holocaust drama that I'm being forced to star Magneto?
I actually do.
Yeah.
Send it his way.
Yeah,
Send it
cool,
his
cool,
way.
cool.
Well, let me ask you this, since we're talking about it. You worked on an IP that was one of my favorite movies of all time that translated into a TV series perfectly, in my opinion, which was Wet Hot American Summer.
Yeah.
So, like, that is, top 5 comedies for me of all time.
100%.
Oh, yeah, it's
100%.
Love the original, love the remake.
And so when I heard about the series coming out on Netflix, I was like, oh, fuck, dude. Why would you do this?
Right.
And then it came out, and I was like, oh, fuck, this is awesome.
That was I have some cool stories about that.
Okay.
If you want to hear them.
Yes.
I
love Kristen Wiig.
We are diehard fucking Wet Hot American
So
Summer.
it was crazy. So I got hired for that. I was on. I left a tour I was on and went home to do that.
Okay.
I got the call. I applied for the job. And I left for this tour, and then I got the call mid-tour. and my manager was like, look, dude, if you need to do this, and if you want to do it, you got to get on a fucking plane tomorrow morning. You got to get the fuck out of there.
And it's every fucking all-star in comedy that was doing that thing.
Well, in the beginning, this is the cool story. So in the beginning, I did, and I went home and we started right away, and it was me and a bunch of other not known writers, who now actually one of the writing team went on to create Search Party.
Ah, shit, no way.
It was wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were a writing team that were there and got hired because they were students of Michael Showalter's in a class he taught. They weren't there because of that, but that's how he found them.
Sure.
And that was their first gig, and then they created Search Party, like coming off the heels of season 1. It was fucking crazy.
That's wild.
When Search Party blew up the way it did, we were like, whoa, holy shit. Anyway, so it was the writers, and it was David Wayne and Michael Showalter and John Stern, the producer. And we were all in a room, and they were like, okay, so the series is gonna be a prequel to, it's gonna be the summer leading up, or it's gonna be the events leading up to the first movie. And we're like, okay, cool. And
you guys are all 10 years older now.
yeah. And they were like, yeah. And they were like, that'll just be part of the joke. And like, that's what's going to be funny. And like, we were like, okay, cool. And they were like, we don't know if anybody is coming back. But we would like you all to read a script we had written that was a sequel called Wet Hot American Winter that never got produced.
Okay.
So we read this screenplay. It was funny. It wasn't as good as the first one, but it was funny, and there was like stuff in it that they wanted to pull there were good moments.
Yeah, some good bits. Yeah.
And they were like, let's start just kind of assembling ideas here and just coming up with ideas. So it was like a couple weeks of just like, what could be a thing that happens at the camp? Like maybe there's a Jason is loose, and it's like a horror movie, or what we should do? It'd be funny if like we saw like Ken Marino's character have to buy condoms for the first time. It was like all these just like random ideas, and you'd go in and you'd pitch things and blah 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 blah, and like they would come in like every other day, and they'd be like, Elizabeth Banks is in. She's going to come back.
Paul Rudd.
We're like, that was the biggest.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite.
Yeah, we were like, because we had a feeling, we were like, they clearly like have a connection to like Ken Marino. Like he'll probably come back. Joe and Trulia will probably come back. They were all in the state together.
Yeah.
But we were like, what about like the fucking, Paul fucking Rudd? It was like, he was like blowing up.
I remember Ant-Man right now.
Yeah. I remember the day they came in, they go, we got Paul Rudd, we have him for 3 days. And we were like, what? And then I remember when they were like, we got Bradley Cooper. Bradley Cooper can come, but he can only shoot for 1 day because he's like in between. He was doing like Silver Lining
so much
more than 1 day.
And he was only doing Oscar shit, and they were like, hey, man, can you come back and do 1 day of Wet Hot American Summer?
So then, because of everybody's schedule, we got the core group back, and then we started scripting out what the story of the show was. And then, because of everybody's schedule, Michael Showalter comes into the room one day and he goes, okay, change of plans. The entire series takes place over 1 day. It's the day before the kids come back. And we were like, wait, what? And he was like, it's going to be called First Day of Camp. And we were like, okay. And it seemed insane when he said it, but then like as he started explaining how it would work, it all kind of made sense.
And that's the only way you could do it with everybody only giving 1 or 2
Because
days.
You'd have to run from scene to scene, same costume.
Yeah.
So if you notice, Bradley Cooper is only in the music hall. He's only in the recital hall.
Every scene shot in
Him
there.
and Amy Poehler are only in the recital
way
hall.
to solve these problems.
It is,
Yeah.
Like,
It was super fucking creative. Like, and then that was what it was. And then like things, I remember originally the David Hyde Pierce character, he was through the whole thing. There was like a whole crazy like storyline with him getting divorced and moving to the camp and all that. And then it ended up just being the cold open to one episode was David Hyde Pierce's story.
That's so
for
funny.
6 minutes, and then that was it.
Okay, best line of the entire series was Paul Rudd's, "You want a slice of this long, greasy dick?" Who wrote that one?
Not me.
Damn it! I was
Not
really
me.
hoping that was you.
Not me. No, I don't remember what I had my hands in and what I didn't. I know one thing that I definitely wrote a big chunk of was Jesus, I'm blanking on who was who. I think Elizabeth Banks was the undercover music critic or something.
Yeah.
I remember writing a lot of her big finale speech where she's like, and you're backstage doing coke off of Steven Tyler's dick. This is the life. I remember like when I went to the premiere because they played the entire thing for us.
Sure.
At the premiere, and I remember like seeing that on the big screen, and I was like, "Oh wow!" Like, I remember saying that to my buddy Dan Klein,
And like
He was
I
typing that.
can actually like
you know?
taste that too. Steven Tyler's dick always just smells like cigarettes.
Well, not only that, but he's getting sued now. So like it was
Tyler
a great
is?
line in advance. Yeah.
Steven Tyler?
Steven Tyler. Yeah.
What do
For
you mean?
Aerosmith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's getting sued from Aerosmith.
No, he's getting sued from a 16-year-old girl that he fucking married.
Oh, he's getting like Me Too'd.
No.
Just sued?
It's only what do they call it, Dan? It's only a civil suit for this one because you can't go back and do a criminal suit. But he had a autobiography that came out where he talked for like 3 chapters about getting this mom. Oh, it's a terrible story. To marry off his daughter, sign off on the marriage certificate because transporting her state to state because she was 16 was sex trafficking.
Correct.
And,
yeah. It's a real mad.
Well,
real
hey,
mad
by the
case.
way,
Jesus
like
Christ.
that is you should know this. Like, if you're
How should
writing,
I know this?
No. I'm sorry. Caveat. Period. Paragraph.
Jesus Christ, man!
Wait, I'm talking from a writing standpoint. It's if you write something in a nonfiction book that contains somebody else, even if you change the name, but they can identify all the details
Yes.
as them,
Yep.
they can go back and go after you.
How?
So like,
Yeah.
There's
it's
a
just
book-
it's a weird.
There's
fucking-
a book by O.J. Simpson called "If I Did It."
Yep.
Yeah.
So what the fuck?
Well, they did. They went after him for civil and they won.
Yes.
No.
The Goldman
That should be
family
a
won.
criminal. That should be a new criminal charge, right?
No.
No.
'cause once
This
you're
is
in-
civilly.
Yes,
If
civilly.
they can identify themselves as being part of your story that you profited on, and they didn't sign a release, like this is literally why I stopped my Fishing with Nets book.
Yeah.
Because when I went down the legal route about it, they were like, if any of these people identify themselves, they can come after you for a portion of anything that you made off.
Fuck
Yeah,
that.
and
I'll
OJ
burn the pile of money like the Joker and then blow my brains out on the ashes. Fuck you. You're not getting any of my goddamn money.
I'm just saying.
But with OJ, he was found innocent, and I think that's
He was
key
found not
here.
guilty. See, we need
yeah.
to
Well,
parse
you
that
can't go
out
back
now.
and try him, so
Sure
it's
you
double
can.
jeopardy.
With
I
new
was
evidence,
saying
you can,
should
though, and
know
there's no
this from a
statute of limitations.
literally
Have it is the problem.
standpoint, not from trafficking people from state to state.
Yeah, I know.
So you can't. Yeah, you couldn't like retry OJ, but they could like bring Cosby to trial again because it's different charges, right? From
Correct.
a different person.
Yeah.
So if
Well,
they-
are you going on tour with him at all?
Yeah, are you gonna? Yeah,
He's
you're gonna
on-
open up
he's
for him.
going
He's
on
going back
tour
on
in
tour.
2023.
I know.
Yeah. Are you opening up for him?
No,
You're
but,
both Pennsylvania guys, so I figured,
No,
Yeah, big
I-
Philly guys.
He announced that like they're making a big stink of it now. He announced that like a year and a half ago. He said
Sure,
that.
but now he's ready.
That he's going on
know.
tour?
Yeah,
Bill
yeah.
Cosby's going
I
on
am
tour.
going
I thought he was
to
still in
go.
jail.
You're gonna go?
1,000%. Not because I think Bill Cosby is innocent or anything like that. Because I want to see what the fuck is going to come out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Okay.
would be.
I can't. I mean, this is nuts.
It's just a helicopter. You're fine.
Oh, it's a helicopter. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, just take it on. It's not a big deal.
This is nuts.
Yeah.
Like if it was like, you know, I'm trying to think. Okay, like let's say Lenny Bruce was still alive, and this whole fiasco happened with Lenny Bruce. You wouldn't care about going to see it because you'd be like, well, he's Lenny Bruce. He's going to go up and he's going to explain his side of it, and he's going to talk about it for
Sure.
like 2 fucking hours and read court transcripts and all this shit. Bill Cosby, can you think of a greater juxtaposition of a man that is in this situation versus who he is on stage and going, how in the fuck is he going to navigate this?
It would be like
Like-
going to AA and Jesus is the first guy to talk.
Yes.
It's like, my
Yeah.
name's Jesus and I'm an alcoholic.
Yes.
Here's my story. I used to suck dick for coke.
Whoa,
Damn,
Jesus.
Jesus.
Damn, Jesus.
Oh,
Like,
Jesus.
I mean, I know we're in a
Yeah.
safe space, but
Yeah.
damn, Jesus.
I wasn't
Do you
expecting
think
that.
he will? Do you think he will? I think my my guess is that he is going to ignore it completely.
Yes.
Jesus?
Yes. No.
Jesus.
Oh,
and
or
Cosby.
Cosby. Yeah.
He's not going to mention mention a single joke about it.
Not
Nothing.
one single.
Well, he does
thing.
he's always done a super clean show anyway, so I don't know how you navigate that and stay clean. You know.
I think he will say something along the lines of, "It's good to see all of you, and
Yeah,
thank
thanks for
you
your
all
support."
for
Yeah.
something." Yeah, very broad, and then he'll be like, "I bet you he's got prison jokes.
Yeah.
I bet you he."
Wait.
They don't got no Jello in prison.
The craziest thing about his prison stint, and this is what everybody said from the jail, they were like, dude, most people come in and they have a hard time adjusting and everything else. They said black inmates looked up to him so much that he enjoyed prison. He was like a fucking godfather. And then he had one of the inmates was one of his assistants, and they would schedule out like 20-minute meetings with Cosby, and he would sit them down, ask them what they did, why they're here, and then try to change their lives. As fucked up as this is, he never really cared about getting out.
What kind
it was
of
the lawyers who found the loophole in it.
Yeah.
He was in it, and he was fine with it, and he was treated like a god in there.
What kind of advice is he giving those inmates?
You know,
You know,
probably how many pills in like the time period of like,
Yeah.
look, you drop it and then it's 20 minutes later, like she's gonna fall down the stairs, and dead weight is a lot heavier to pick
and
up.
you've got to talk about how
Yeah, but,
many.
like-
you got to talk about how many fibers there are in a sweater.
You're
Yeah.
in
for
this
CSI reasons,
like,
obviously.
but yeah, you think about the kind of the situation. You're in jail, and then all of a sudden Bill Cosby shows up, and you're just like, well, fuck, this was a real shitty situation. I guess, fuck it, I get to hang out with this guy.
And nobody's
nobody-
going to act up because they don't want to lose their chance to see Cosby.
Yes, everybody's waiting in line like he's, you know.
So here's what we need to do. We need to take.
Taylor Swift.
This is what you guys are saying. We need to take all the black heroes and put them in prison to make prison better.
I'm
right?
not saying that.
That's what you guys were saying.
But I'm
No, I'm
saying
just
it
saying
would
it
help
was a
reform.
shitty-
Just these two.
It would
shitty
help reform.
situation.
Yes, like if you put Kid Rock in a Nashville prison, everybody would be, well, shit, man, you know.
Hey man, can I?
Yeah,
That's a good analogy.
yeah.
You're like, but he's the cowboy, man. He's the American badass.
Hey, son, what are you here for? Well, I slapped a Waffle House waitress. He'd been there.
He takes off his shirt. They're like, we don't even have to have you get any more tattoos. You
By the
already
way,
got.
You're good.
Can I say something about Kid Rock?
Oh yeah.
He's another
Fire
guy.
away. He's been on the show.
Oh,
I've
never
been to
mind.
his
No, we don't
house.
give a fuck.
Never mind. Never mind.
We do not care.
Never
Go
mind.
ahead.
Never
Fire
mind.
away.
Never mind. Never mind.
Joe, I told you before the show you can fire away here.
No. I don't need the fans getting mad at me.
Oh, they don't give a
mad.
fuck. Nobody gives a shit.
I just didn't like when everybody was like, whatever your politics are, I don't care. I don't get into it. But
Sure.
the people that got so mad when they're like, fuck Kid Rock, dude. He sucks now. He is friends with Trump. And I was like, that's what made you
You're
think
surprised?
he sucks?
yeah.
You're surprised.
Shitty tune after shitty tune didn't turn you off from Kid Rock.
has a White House
15 years
replica.
ago. Who was like Kid Rock still just man he delivers every time.
That sounds like
It's
that's
people who are still fans of like Journey and shit, where you're just like, but he's not the singer.
it's like when people were like, "Oh, Scott Baio." You're like, "Who cares?"
That sounds like one of our producers, Bob, over there is like, how many the NBA players got super political, and then the ratings got bad. Like, how many people that are huge fans of the NBA gave a fuck about any of this, really?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how many dudes in fucking trailer parks in Kentucky are like, I'll never watch LeBron James again after this.
we weren't watching
right.
in the first place. Now the NFL is a different story,
Yeah.
where
Well,
it's like, man,
everybody watches the NFL.
Yeah.
The greatest thing about Kid Rock was he built a chapel on his property. We were like,
He did.
We were like, why'd you build the chapel? He's like, oh, my wife wanted it. And then we go in and there's a bar in it. And he's like, why do you have a bar in the chapel? He goes, well, I figured there's a bar in it. People will go.
It's the only way to get people to church.
He seems, and I swear to God, I'm not just saying this to cover up my bit. He seems like he's probably very cool. He seems like he's probably a very cool guy.
Extremely
it just makes
real.
me laugh. Yeah, it just makes me laugh. Like what makes like with this Kanye thing, everybody's like being like, he's fucking crazy and there's something wrong with him. It's like, guys. He has been screaming that he is Shakespeare on morning radio shows for 6 years. Like, this is what it took. This is what it took for you to go, there's something a little off with this guy.
Interrupted the music, the Grammys.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're looking at a 25-year history of Kanye, where you're like, hey, dude, we saw it from the beginning. We're all good on
I thought
this.
it was fine.
I shit on Kanye at a college. I opened for Burr at a college gig when Kanye, the College Dropout album came out. And he was like, about to be the biggest fucking thing ever. he was like right there, and it came out the same day as 50 Cent Get Rich or Die Trying, and I was doing crowd work, and some kid goes, Kanye or 50, and I go 50 all the way, dude. Kanye fuck him, he sucks. And the kids booed me. And then out of fun, like booed me, whatever. But they booed me for saying that. Burr goes on stage. He goes, DeRosa, what do you think? That guy's a fucking genius. You know, he's screaming.
Yeah.
He called me, I swear to God, dude, 15 years later. And he goes, and he leaves me a voice message. He's like, DeRosa, I don't know how the fuck you called it, but you called it. He's a dick.
He's a fucking dick.
You saw it. Nobody saw it.
It'll all come back around eventually, right? So, yeah.
But
And I'm glad that you still have that list of everybody in attendance that night. And you said after the show, we're going to go through, we're going to email all of them.
Yeah.
What I do is I go to each of their homes and I press my penis against their window.
Like the end of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. You just show up.
Show up at their
everybody's
fucking
house.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
That's my favorite line in that whole movie, and I watch the clip all the time. My favorite scene in that whole movie is when they go see Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
And he's going, "Is any of this getting through to you?"
Bong.
Yeah. But when
good.
Jay goes, "What if we meet some chicks? What if we meet some fine ass chicks?" And they're like, "Ooh, we want to suck you guys' dicks off."
And then they were sucking two other guys' dicks. Well, fuck that.
Fuck that.
That's a great movie.
The one who did
is.
in real life, are you friends with Doug Stanhope in real life?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love Doug.
Did you hear about his documentary where they tracked down the pedophile, the one that touched his best friend?
No. Jesus.
He came on the show and promoted it. This kid, who is the comedian, Bob, who was with him? It's his best friend.
Oh, fuck. I'm going to have to go back and look.
Go
He's
look at
not
the
like a big name
catalog.
yet.
I'm sorry, we've done like 1,500 episodes on this goddamn thing. But anyways, he comes on the show and we're like, hey, what's the movie you're promoting or whatever? And he goes, well, it hasn't come out yet. We're cutting the trailer and I'll send you some footage. I was like, all right, cool. Doug's in a trailer park, inside of some fucking weird house. Because of course he is.
That's his house in Bisbee, Arizona.
Oh, is it?
It's a flop house on the border, just in case he has to
literally,
escape the authorities.
So I go,
It literally that house literally looks like it's the house in his mind when he's on mushrooms.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen somebody walk the walk harder than Doug Stanhope, except for maybe Kid Rock.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
He lives it. They live it. They live it, baby. They live it.
They live it.
Yeah.
And with this, I go, real quick, because they were sending over the footage, I go, before it shows up, this is pre-show, I go, before it shows up, I go, just give me a quick background of it. And he goes, oh, well, my best friend's coming on the show, and he got sexually molested for about 8 years when he was a child. And we tracked down the guy and with a camera
Invited
crew,
him to dinner.
and we just wanted to say introduce him to the kid he touched 50 years ago. 50
That's like
years
sleepers.
ago.
That's like sleepers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they go, and I go, what the fuck? And I go, we'll save it for the show. So I watch the thing, and then we do the show, whatever. And I go, what did you say to the guy? And he goes, we have him on camera saying, I'm sorry for molesting you and all that shit. And I was like, what the? I mean, I was just blown away, and I was like, holy shit, dude.
Now, because if it was anybody but Doug, I wouldn't ask this. Is Doug making it kind of funny?
Yes.
In the doc?
Yes. And the guy, who's the comedian, Bob? Look up.
Andy Anderson.
That's it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so it was
yeah.
Andy who got touched, right?
Yeah.
And so.
By an angel.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it wasn't an angel. Angel of death, man.
No,
Angels
that
can
guy
be-
from Seventh Heaven got rolled up for
That's
touching
right.
kids.
He did, yeah.
Angels can be
Jesus.
good or
Yeah.
bad, right? Don't presume that an angel's good just because
The
it's called
angels
that.
to some.
Yeah, have you ever
demons to
seen
others.
Dogma?
Yeah, a long time ago.
You can't find
but-
that movie anywhere, by the way. It's hard to get.
No, but
Not on
with
anything.
that, they made it into a comedy documentary of what they were going to do and say to him and all the other shit, and then they had drinks afterwards. After they
With him.
with him.
Oh, God.
No, not with not
okay.
with the molester.
Oh, I thought that's what you meant.
No,
Jesus,
but
you
with
gotta
this-
you gotta do the paragraph
Well,
thing
hang
again.
on.
That's you. You got
Yeah,
strike
that
one.
That one's me. That one's me. But with his buddy that
By the
got
way-
molested, and they had a normal. I was like, "Did you guys have a normal dinner?" And he goes, "Yeah, it was not that much different than anything else."
The drinks after detail is so not interesting or important if it's not with the molester.
Yeah.
When you go, they had drinks after, it's like, what? And then you go, no, not with the molester.
No,
You're
not
like,
with
well,
the
then who
molester.
cares?
No, but I would, if it were me, right? One would imagine it would be such a deep emotional experience that
Sure.
you'd be like, hey, dude, I think I just want to go back to the hotel for a minute and kind of process this.
Sure.
Instead of like, oh, let's go to Applebee's half off app special, Let's let's get some.
They
let's
shared
get
a
some
fucking bloomin'
margs
onion.
Applebee's.
yeah, let's get some
Yeah.
margs there and kind of get wet.
Well, I'm sure they discussed like what the fuck just happened afterward. Over drinks.
One would imagine.
I
Yeah,
don't think.
one would
I
imagine.
actually disagree. I don't think you go straight home. I think it's like let's go to the bar and just kind of talk about this.
Yeah.
man.
Okay.
This is kind of.
Yeah.
I think I would have been alone, me personally, if I'd
Well,
gotten touched.
I mean, what's
as a
the
kid.
gap? You said it was 50 years. Like, there's a lot of years in between.
Why don't you follow
It
the guy
is.
back?
Yeah.
You follow the molester back to his home, and then you molest
Execute him.
No,
or
well,
molest
you
him.
rape him first.
Yeah, what's he going to
Yeah.
do? Call the police?
Then
If
you
he-
kill him.
If he
Exactly.
molests him?
Well, so the police were called, and
glove.
because they were on private property and all this other shit, and the police were called, and then his explanation to the cops was like, "Hey, man, that's the fucking guy who molested me for whatever," and they're like, "What? And that's why you guys are filming this?" And they was like, "Yeah, that's why we're filming this, and it's part of this documentary or whatever." And he goes, "Did he admit it?" And he goes, "Yes." And so they showed, I guess they showed the footage to the cops. The cops are like, "Yo, you guys can get the fuck out of here." I mean, to this day, it's the wildest shit of all time. So whenever anybody brings up these hypotheticals, I go, "We know one person in one show who did it, and it was fucking Doug Stanhope."
But he's the only guy that could even conceive of doing something like that.
Yes,
to be
I
honest.
agree. I agree.
Doug's mind is special.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
whole thing he did with his mom.
Yeah.
and it's like Doug's. Like I said, Doug walks it, man. Like he's.
But you've done some fucked up shit. Like you did a stand-up special at a cemetery at Hollywood Forever.
Well, yeah, but that wasn't.
Well, yeah, but I love
No,
that.
but we did it. We did it in the whatever hall. There's like a meeting hall at the cemetery, and we.
But aren't the dead bodies back there
In a
the
mausoleum
things?
or
Yeah, in a
some shit?
mausoleum. Yeah.
No. We actually did look in the mausoleum to see if that was in any way appropriate to shoot in, and it was not. But no, we shot in. There's like I forget what it's called. But there's like a Shriners Hall there or something.
Yeah.
like a meeting hall.
At the beginning when you drive in.
I'll put
It's
it
like,
out
it's
right
like
now.
basically you can have like your funeral reception there.
Oh,
or
so
something.
it's, yeah,
okay,
there's
gotcha,
like a.
gotcha, gotcha.
So we
so
did
it's
it
set
in
up with
there.
stage.
Say again?
Is it set up with a stage? Like so it's so people can
Yeah,
actually.
it actually worked out very well because I'm a big horror fan, and I'm a big Rod Serling
Whore with a W, or whore with an H.
horror fan.
Okay,
Of
cool.
course, I
Yeah.
like horrors.
Yeah.
And
dirty ones.
well, they were real dirty. They died of AIDS, and they're buried in that fucking cemetery.
Goddamn right. R.I.P.
They must have been poor too, because you can't die of AIDS if you're rich now.
Sure
That
can.
is
dude.
true. I
Yeah.
know,
Rich people
I know.
don't die from AIDS.
I'm a big horror fan, and I'm a big Rod Serling fan. So
He created Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone, yeah, and I convinced somehow Comedy Central to let me direct the special, and they said, "Okay, what do you want to do?" And I convinced them with this idea that I had, and I said, I want to base it on the TV show Night Gallery, and they were like, "Well, what's that?" And I said, "Well, Rod Serling had a second show after Twilight Zone. It was called the Night Gallery." And it was the same thing. It was anthology stories, but it was horror, and instead of sci-fi. And I said every episode would open with Rod Serling in the Night Gallery, and it was this gallery of paintings, this art gallery of paintings, that had like infinite blackness behind him. It was really eerie, but the paintings were all illuminated, and so was Rod Serling. And he would walk up to a painting and be like, "Tonight's tale," and talk about the painting, and the painting represented the story. So I said, I want to do that, but I want to make all the paintings on this. It's going to look just like Night Gallery, and I want all the paintings on the stage to represent jokes in the hour. But you won't be able to tell that unless you really look.
Pay attention.
you know? And they were like, "That's pretty cool, great." And they got into it. And then my buddy Ryan, who works at Comedy Central, we were trying to find a cool place to shoot it, and I wanted to shoot it at the Troubadour, because Fu Manchu, my favorite band in the world, I would go watch them at the Troubadour, and a lot of bands I loved played at the Troubadour, and that was where Steve Martin shot his first special. And I was like, it's kind of LA history if we're going to do it in LA. And the stage wasn't deep enough, which was heartbreaking, because I was like, fuck, I really fucking wanted that to work. But they were like, if you want to do this blackness trick, we need like a deep room. We need a cavernous room. And then Ryan was like, there's a hall at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery, oddly enough. So it was perfect. And then I was like, well, shit. Now let's shoot exterior shots in the cemetery.
Yeah.
And like, let's go all in and make this like, so every camera angle, every move was a mimic of a horror movie in some way, shape, or form. The one that's most spottable is we did the Evil Dead camera trick from Evil Dead 1 and 2, where the thing's going through the forest.
Yeah.
It was fun, man, and we had like 5 cameras, and I had a strict rule where I said no shot can ever be, no movement can ever be clean. And because that was the thing, I was like, we're modeling after 70s horror. It's all like Scotch tape budget, so nothing can be clean. Like it all has to sort of be wobbling. And we went in to do the edit, and we were looking at the first edit, and all the fucking shots were clean, and I was like, "What the fuck happened? What the fuck? What?"
Yeah.
And I wasn't screaming, but I was upset.
No, you were screaming. You were screaming at people before you got in today.
I hit people.
Yeah, a lot of N-words out in the parking lot.
Car.
Yeah.
With his car. It's a white Chevy Blazer.
But the guy goes, it was the guy doing all the color balance and everything. He's like, "Oh yeah, I just put a post effect
Stabilizer.
on. Stabilizer on." And I was like, "Take it off. What do you know?" And he was like, "Oh, you want it to look like that?" And I was like, "Yes, that was the whole idea. It was fucking hard to make it look like that."
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, now I get it. Okay, cool, man." But,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to save some rendering time.
yeah, it was a cool experience.
Yeah, it's wild. And the reason I bring it up is I did a gig over at Paramount, which Hollywood Cemetery is right behind it.
Yeah.
And the editor there, shout out Ivan Victor, was like, we would have lunch and we had the option to go someplace. Well, that little stretch of road there's not a lot of like cool restaurants, right? You kind of have to go down to Larchmont or
Right.
something like that. And so we would get food delivered and then go eat it in Hollywood Cemetery every day. And I was like, first day we did it, I was like, this is really fucking creepy.
Yeah.
And I was like, why did you want to do this? And he goes, no, it's beautiful in there.
It is gorgeous.
And he goes, you'll understand once we get in. And once we got in, I was like, oh shit. And then I saw other people eating lunch there every day, and I was like, fuck, man.
Yeah, it's kind of like a weird hangout. Like, they show movies there. And,
Yeah.
in
the summer, yeah.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't. It's been pretty established in LA as a place where they do events and stuff, and there's I guess an agreement between whoever runs that cemetery and whatever. So I wouldn't have done that if there wasn't that already in place,
Yeah.
And I was very careful to. I was like, don't get any, like, we have, like, when we were shooting in the actual graveyard, I was like, can't show any names, obviously, on the gravestones, but I was like maybe it's superstitious, but I was very respectful of the graves. I was like, don't step on anybody's grave. Like, let's treat this like,
Right.
Because it might not be my belief, but it's somebody's, and they put this.
Yeah, but I just want to put it out there. If it's me, come hang out.
Well,
Sit on
for
it.
you, yeah,
Stand
you're
on
good.
it. Do
You're good,
comedy
yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
Be there with it.
If I knew that person, if I knew the family was cool with that, I would have been.
Yeah, I'm
fine
thinking
with
about
it.
putting like a glass table on top of my tombstone so people can snort cocaine off of that.
Oh,
shit.
that'd be
great.
nice. And
Are they
it's
still
elevated
seeing
up
you?
to.
Yeah, my eyes will be looking up through the glass.
No, that's
good.
that's
my actual
genius.
eyeballs.
And
Yeah.
it's just carved in your forehead. It says "Do cocaine" in your skull.
Yeah, and in the middle of doing cocaine, there's a big swastika.
Well, I had to.
probably
I
shouldn't
was.
do that.
I have a
Well-
Should
contract.
do that.
I have a contract that says you get my skull.
Yeah, I get
upon
to.
death.
Yeah, so I want to
You're
drink
turning
out
it
of it.
into a cup.
Well, it's a nice starter.
Yeah, but I'm
going
going to turn it into a chamber pot. I'm just going to shit in that thing every goddamn night.
Well, you get half of it, so you're
Now,
fine.
shit,
You guys are
half your
splitting
skull?
it.
You
How
do
are you making
whatever-
a fucking cup out of this with a split skull?
Oh, easily. So
This is
bottom
news
half
to me.
No, bottom
Yeah.
half.
Oh, he gets the jaw.
Right, and so he can shit in that all day long.
I
want
can't
the top
shit
half
in a
for
mandible.
drinks.
It's just a fucking U-shaped bone. What the fuck am I going to do with that?
You can do a lot with that, dude.
No, I can't. What is it? A boomerang? Fuck off. I'm getting a skull.
No, but it's
No.
a toss. It's a quick toss over the yard.
It's going to have to be a fight.
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
What's
it's a
your
fight,
What's
yeah.
your death wish? What do you want? Have you thought about it?
with my body.
Yeah, you married?
No,
Okay. Who gets your?
I think I'm
who's got
going to
your will?
donate to science.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Like Dad
idea.
would?
Like Dr. Fauci?
Which branch of science?
Yeah, just Dr. Fauci.
Right? Like
I'm going
physics?
to donate to Dr. Fauci.
I would, yeah.
Strictly.
Donate it
Like
to
it has to be delivered to his doorstep.
house.
Yeah.
Frozen.
Yeah.
And with the way I'm going, I probably will die before him. But no, I've thought about it. I think I might do that. Man, Jesus Christ, the idea of cremation, burial, or mausoleum, it's so fucking freaky to me. And I know that you'll be dead and you won't know. It just freaks me out.
But as a horror film fan, how does death freak you out?
I'm terrified of dying.
No shit.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't take care of myself.
Are you going hard these days? You look fine.
I
Good
look
color.
Big coke guy?
Yeah.
No.
Heroin?
No.
Sherm?
No.
PCP?
I've done my share of stuff in the day. But no, I just drink.
Okay.
And I probably drink too much.
Well, we're probably like 5 to 8 years away from them artificially growing organs. So there's a chance if you could just hold off, like just dial it back 10%.
Yeah,
No,
dude.
wait.
Give yourself another
You'll be
12
good.
years,
Yeah,
then you
yeah.
could purchase a fucking
We're-
grown organ.
No,
You're fine.
Forget about the organs. We're very close. Actually, the study is complete in mice to reverse the aging process.
Oh,
And
yeah, that's right.
Here's how it works. What we used to think was that you age because your cells degenerate over time, right? And that's what cancer is when your cells start to split when they shouldn't, and they break down. What we found is that the cell becomes unstable because it doesn't have the ability to process the old information, like stem cells, to recreate yourself and things like that. Now, there's a stimulant that they've been putting into mice. I'm not sure what it is, but they've reversed the aging process in mice.
Wow.
Almost entirely. Like
So
literally
when you say
reversed it.
reversed it, what happens?
I mean, they could take they could
Benjamin Button.
they can give you a treatment, theoretically speaking. They could give you a treatment, and all the cells in your body would be like if you were 25 years old again.
Well, here's a prime
And
example.
do you literally start to look younger, or
I would
do you
imagine
just
so, yeah, because if you
look
think
like
about
the healthiest
like
you?
when you take HGH, like everything tightens up a little bit, right? That's how it works. Your skin's gonna get better, your muscles,
What's
your muscle fiber.
HGH?
Well, like-
HGH, human growth hormone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
After the
Liver
age
King,
of
that guy.
24,
Okay.
like when you're 24, after that, your brain stops producing new brain cells.
Mm-hmm.
So any damage you do to your head post 24
Tell me
is
about it.
permanent.
Yeah.
Now, if you take Ibogaine, which this whole study we did in the last year with vets, Ibogaine reverses the aging process with the brain by up to 5 years. So like
it's kind of like
it's
clearing out
going
the hard
backwards.
drive, you know? That's what it
All
is.
right,
And that's
well,
why
how
you
do
hear
we
so
do
many
it?
people do it.
Hey, we're getting there.
Oh,
We're getting there.
he's-
That's what I'm
he's
saying.
done it.
Just
He's
yeah,
done
Did it work?
Yes, 100%.
Like, so what was the difference? What the palatable difference that you noticed?
I mean, your long-term, short-term memory, absolutely noticeable there. Your clear-headedness and just quietness in your brain, like you kind of have that, you operate with that fog.
Yeah.
Gone.
Okay.
Like, and there's a number of other
regardless
things.
of
Sleep-
booze or no?
No, wait, regardless of booze, I'm drinking booze right now. yeah. I'm just saying, you go back.
Very interesting.
It goes back. It repairs a lot. Like, definitely something I can share with you.
But it
more.
also goes through like your life, what you should be doing, relationships, and all that stuff. Like we were chatting earlier here. Like we can talk about it, right? We're fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So like with Jared in particular, he was dating somebody at the time. Had this love of his life, who was his high school sweetheart, and once he got out of it, called her. She's here, and they're dating to this day. So yeah.
Are you
No,
sure?
well, yeah. Second.
Wait, I didn't.
Is Corey here? Put a camera back there.
I didn't follow.
Just wave, Corey. There she is.
I think I
not
made
the
Corey.
dude. I mean, come on, bro. Not you. You're not.
I didn't
getting
follow
fucked.
anything he just said, though.
It was like, yeah, her and I were together back in 2010, 12 years later, well, 11 years later, come out of this whole thing, like,
And now I get the bit. Sorry, I really ruined your
No,
bit.
but no, it's not. It's
I'm
not even
so
a bit,
sorry.
But it's not a bit. Like that's real, and that's what it does. Is it kind of clarifies.
what you should have done.
Yes.
Shit.
So hopefully, but the reason I'm telling you this story is that's how deep it is. So like, if you're not ready to go into that, which I'm not,
You are.
No, I'm not. I had this conversation
yeah.
with my wife after you were on the show and we did it. Wink.
You can do it.
No, I don't
you
think I
can do it.
could.
No, you can do it.
Yeah, because you're gonna find out that you
because
should.
you're just like everybody else. You
I'm
have the-
not. I'm
No,
special.
I'm
I'm
saying
special.
Everybody has that trepidation. They go, but it's a misconception because it's not. You don't wake up and go, "Oh my God, I fucked up." You wake up and it just goes. You have the right contact lenses on, and you can now see the correct direction that you're supposed to go. You're like, "Oh God, I would have went there if I didn't have these lenses on." It's not. You're not
I
unraveling.
could use a bit of that.
Yeah, see, I can help you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Or you can just smoke DMT. Ibogaine is pretty intense.
It's
Well,
pretty
yeah.
intense. And like Prince Harry the other night, I know he's doing interviews for this fucking book, but they were asking him about ayahuasca and all the shit that he did, right? And Anderson Cooper was like, what does it exactly do for you? And he goes, for me, I felt like the windshield was dirty, and this just cleaned the windshield.
I don't believe that
The
Harry,
right lens.
I don't believe Harry did ayahuasca because I heard him explain being on mushrooms, and it sounds like a child talking.
But it was his first time on mushrooms.
I don't
Do
give
you
a
remember
fuck.
your first time on mushrooms?
Yes, I do. I've done enough mushrooms to fill this room. All right? And I've never had a toilet talk to me. That's fucking stupid.
I'm
That's
not
what
giving
mushrooms
you
do.
any
Yeah.
details after this.
Okay.
So don't ask, but I am Eskimo Brothers with Harry.
Right.
Whoa!
He jacked off Harry, and now they're.
Nice.
Did you fuck Harry or did you fuck Mags?
No, I'm just
Somebody else in the
told
past?
you no details.
All right. One of the girls in Vegas when he was playing Buck Naked.
It was Bryan Singer, probably. Because he got raped by Bryan
I actually
Singer.
told
Yeah, he got
Corey
raped
about
by
this
Bryan Singer.
yesterday, and she was laughing at me. She goes, I mean, that is kind of cool with a prince.
Wait, Harry did or you did?
She's in a royal lineage. Your cock has now put her in a royal lineage.
Who got raped
We're
by Bryan Singer?
royals.
Jared did. Yeah, Jared
you
got raped
really?
by Bryan Singer.
No, they keep.
Well,
I
it was
didn't have sex
consensual.
with him.
It was
I
consensual.
don't know what's true or what's not. But wait a minute.
I went to
Why
his
is the
house.
thing you're talking about intense? It sounds like just a procedure, is it not?
No, I mean it
it's-
is. Okay, so if
Or
you've
is it
done-
one of those things where you got to go to a shaman and
Yes.
do
No,
it?
well, it's more medical than that. Have you ever you done mushrooms? I'm sure.
Yeah, and I do not, in my older age, handle that kind of shit well.
Yeah, so this
bug
is
out.
about
Same.
80,000 times more potent, and it lasts for about 15 hours, anywhere from 13 to 15 hours. So you're also reliving your past over and over and over again, where you severed some of these connections in your brain. So it's not necessarily made up shit. You're actually going back in your memories.
And this healed your brain?
Well, that's
Yeah.
that's just the experience. The experience is wild.
Right.
It's hard. It sucks, but that compound.
Do you, is it like
100%.
panic attack sucks? Like, because I'll have panic attacks.
You won't, because you can't while you're kind of in this state.
Imagine being paralyzed.
Yeah, you can't move. Like, it's wild.
Have you seen Greg Abbott, the mayor, the
But
governor?
I'm
of
just
Texas?
saying.
I think so.
Yeah,
He's in a wheelchair, so
you'd be like that.
like
It's
him,
the
but from the
most-
waist down, basically.
All right.
But
You're
you
welcome.
will never regret
Thank
it. Yes, it's going to suck for a couple hours, but every day you're going to be like, I'm really fucking glad I did that.
And it literally heals the
heals-
cells in your brain?
Yes, it throws your brain into neurogenesis.
Well,
how
it's
do you
like
do it?
it's like
It throws new cells
It's
in
like
there.
you know the reason that your face starts to droop a little when you get older is because collagen breakdown, right?
Right.
And then people will get laser in their face, and what it does is stimulate new collagen growth. It's the same thing for your brain, basically.
Stimulates new growth.
you coulda
So
said
like
that
in
half
this
an hour
study
ago.
that we just finished with Stanford Medical, like we had 30 patients that all got pre-brain scans before going down. Then they all went down. They did brain scans, 15 days, 30 days, all after. Like and with my community of people that have gone to war a number of times, and you're around breaches where you're exploding a door to go into it, you're dropping bombs, you're firing 50 caliber weapons next to your head. That's breaking your neural pathways, severing them. And what that looks like when you look at a brain scan is you have all these dark areas where there's no connectivity, no electricity is getting through. Post Ibogaine, now everything's light gray. Now connectivity. is
It's like
back.
repaving a
Yes,
road, right?
It's like
Yeah.
smoothing out. It's like smoothing out the grooves.
And now they're working on these types of studies for Parkinson's or dementia.
Yes, so dementia and Parkinson's
in particular.
And stroke recovery as well.
They use low dose Ibogaine for Parkinson's because it starts taking you backwards.
Correct, yeah.
Like it starts relighting these areas that are dead, and you're like, but
Is
that
it
ain't
legal?
No.
no, not.
You gotta
in
go
the
out of
United
country.
States. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to go.
Oh, okay.
But the whole reason why it's on the Schedule 1 list is because the Schedule 1 list was essentially solidified in 1991, and they put everything on there that nobody was researching or understood. So at that time frame, they looked at a compound and went, "We don't know what the fuck that is. It's illegal." Like
I'm like looking, like with my body, I'm looking to science the way like a rich kid looks to his daddy. Like, I'm like, science will bail me out for the trouble I'm causing. I've got myself into another jam. Sure. Eventually, daddy will come and bail me out. Like, and that's what I'm hoping.
or being
Kempo,
rich. Rich will do it. If you just make enough money and you're good.
Yeah, I don't.
a Kembo process, the
don't.
Kempo process, that's the poison dart frog stuff where they burn multiple places around your skin. They give you that poison.
Yep.
It resets your organs, like completely makes them dump out everything that's been bad for them, and then it restarts you. So that's something to look into.
How bad is that process?
That only lasts like 15 or 20 minutes. I've heard.
But are you like sick?
No, you're hallucinating like you're on mushrooms.
Yeah.
Have you
But-
smoked DMT before?
Yes.
Yeah,
Which
it's-
kind?
What do you think?
I was with Kurt Metzger.
Were you vibrating and not just looking like
Which-
through a kaleidoscope?
No, I said to Kurt at one. Kurt Metzger and me. Kurt was like coaching me through it to smoke it.
Kurt's been on the show.
Yeah, and he was standing over me at a party.
So that was
I think
NN.
unbeknownst to Jeff, we were at Jeff Ross's house. I don't like he didn't know. We snuck off to some balcony and did it. But
You
Kurt
weren't laying
was-
down?
I was like in a reclining chair. and
Was it
Kurt was
NN
standing
or
over
5?
Me,
Do you
And
know?
it wasn't. No, but it was kind of doing something. It wasn't really doing anything. And then finally, I go, Kurt, is this the trip? Me looking up at your fucking bug eyes because it's freaking me out. Like because he was just hovering
Did
over
it
me like, how do
smell
you feel,
and taste
dude?
really bad?
Yeah.
Okay, then that's
NN.
NN.
It was.
And then it's like a,
but
it's
it
like
just
mushrooms,
wasn't
kinda.
like.
Yeah, it's like LSD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was thinking because, well, actually, I do know what I was thinking. It was something happened to me during the pandemic. I don't know what it is.
Brian Singer.
Brian Singer.
Yeah.
He got you.
Yeah, he raped you.
He did.
He got it
And
in a
it was
little
by
bit.
making me watch Jack the Giant Slayer.
Yep.
Listen,
On repeat.
yeah.
Yeah, but something happened to me during lockdown where, and look, I had COVID a few times. Maybe it's fucking COVID. Maybe it was just the mental experience of living alone and being in such a dark period in this shoebox. I don't know what it was, but my brain just said to me, dude, no more. And I used to be able to go to, when I lived in LA, man, I would go to bars. I would fucking take Molly. I would take mushrooms. I would trip my fucking dick off and laugh and be like, I don't know what the fuck is going on, man. I thought it was so fucking funny. And Jesus Christ, dude, during the pandemic, I had my little like lockdown crew that I hung out with. And once or twice, I did Molly with them. One time I did mushrooms. I was with Ari. The last time I ever did mushrooms, I was with Ari. And Ari made me like a special dose. Because he was like, no.
I would trust Ari to give me drugs.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
No, he was like
100%.
he was like grinding it and like weighing it out, and he was like, okay. He was like, theoretically, this one should make you trip less than everybody else. Because I was like, dude, I don't want to freak out. That's my Ari impression. Yeah. So
That's pretty spot on.
yeah. Anyway, but
Pretty spot on.
and I was like, okay, and it. Even that, dude, it just, I had to go in the other room and just lay there.
Well,
and I was
yeah,
like,
this
dude,
is-
I can't do
Because
this
you're
anymore.
you got
My
too many
brain
you've
switched
got
off.
there's too much competing shit going
Yes.
on. And one of the
Yeah.
one of the things or two of the things that are probably competing is a high level of cortisol and a low level of testosterone. Like the average man in America right now has 40% less testosterone in their body than their counterpart 20 years ago.
These also
because
are
of heavy metals
completely-
and plastics and all this bullshit
Right.
that we put into our body or that get put into our body for whatever reason. And if you're not supplementing with testosterone as a man, like an adult man at this point in human history, you're fucked.
That's so interesting because it's
Yeah,
like,
have you ever had your T levels checked?
no.
That
You should that should be the
will
first thing you
it.
do when you
Yep.
get home. I'm not even kidding.
Hey man, so I went through this and we talked about it on the
Okay.
show. And we actually had our doctor on
Mm-hmm.
on there, Dr. Frank. I was going through this depression and crashing and
For
everything
no
else,
reason.
and for no reason.
Brain
And
fog,
yes,
all that shit.
And I couldn't figure it out. And he was the one who told me. He goes, "Hey man, have you checked your testosterone levels?" And I was like, "No." I'm like, "I'm a young dude. Why would that affect me?" And he goes, "Dude, you don't know when it's gonna go. You should probably get it checked." So I went in. I think the lowest is what 400 or something like
No.
that.
Yeah, your low is
Well, as far as-
If you're under 400, you're fucked.
Correct, right.
Typically,
So-
but most of adult men are in the 160 to 200 range. Right. now.
Right. And so at that point, I had come in at like a 403, and it was a family doctor.
Okay.
And the family doctor was like, "Oh, you're fine. Like, no worries. It's between 400 and 900." And I told him, and he goes, "Hey, that's like the lowest." And he goes, "If you go beneath that, that's when insurance kicks in and they have to pay for this." And so that was why that number meant a lot. So once I started it, because I went to another doctor, once I started it, all of it changed for me, and I didn't realize that it was testosterone.
Okay.
And nothing else. And it was purely mental. It's not like I'm fucking jacked because of it or anything else. It was just purely a mental and physical difference where I was like, oh shit, I'm not depressed because I had no reason to be depressed.
Yeah, it's a super low dosage. Like you're not cranking up like Liver King or anything like that. You
Yeah.
you get your body back to where it's supposed to be.
And
Right.
then,
Okay.
and then these compounds that you just listed, mushrooms and Molly, like they're completely misunderstood. These are not party things. Like mushrooms,
Yeah.
you are opening, you're swelling your neuropathways and allowing more information to go in and out. So if you are at a social event, your brain is now able to comprehend and understand 5 conversations at once, and you're not used to that. So it fucking turns into anxiety and things like that. Same with Molly. Molly will amplify anxiety.
Yeah, it's like
because
being
it has
autistic,
speed.
basically. You're like, there's too
Yeah,
much.
dude, and it's that thing where like I've been on
You're probably what, 45?
45.
Yeah, dude, I guarantee that's what.
Cut
it
him in
is.
half
If you
and
go
count
and
the
check.
rings.
Yeah, let's cut them in half. We'll count the rings.
But if you go in and get it checked, I guarantee that's what it is.
Yeah, it just it would just do this thing to me where like I just couldn't take it anymore. I remember the last time the last time in public that I did drugs. It was right before COVID hit.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the Tool concert with Jay Okerson,
Yeah, Big J.
yeah, and Christine Evans, and Justin Silver, and Louis Gomez. Oh, and Corinne and Christina from Guys We Fucked.
Oh, fuck. I talked to Corinne years ago.
Yeah,
I haven't
yeah.
talked to
She
her
was
in-
on the show.
She's great. They're great. But we all went, and Mike Fenoya, it was a bunch of us. And I took some fucking shit with Louis, and I was like, I don't even know what it was. Like, that's what I mean, dude. There was a time where I would have been like, that sounds fun. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And I remember that was kind of the beginning and the end for me, because at one point during the concert, I was like, bro, I have to pee so bad. And we walked to the stairs, and I go, fuck this. I can't. The stairs were just like, I can't. It was too much.
It's like a
You piss all over.
Yeah,
the
but Bill Hicks
No, I
used to.
just held it somehow. I think I pissed in a cup. I think I pissed down in a cup.
Bill,
in a cup.
Bill Hicks addressed this on his '92 comedy album. It's like people take mushrooms and go to the fucking state fair and ride a roller coaster and freak out. It's like
fucking
you're an
dumb.
idiot.
Yeah.
Go to
Yeah.
nature. Like
Yeah.
that's
go in the woods.
Go
be
stand
by
in the
yourself.
fucking woods, man.
And then you'll
Yeah.
have a substantial.
Although I take-
increased experience.
psychotropic drugs and just wander around in public.
I've
'cause
done
I enjoy
14
that.
grams of mushrooms at once. It's called the ceiling dose.
Is it really?
Yeah. So that's
Never
the
in a
thing.
million years.
Psilocybin has a ceiling, meaning around the ceiling is your brain can only convert it to psilocin so much.
That makes sense.
So you could take 40 grams, but only that 12
Right.
between 9 and 12 is what they say. I took 14, making sure.
Yeah.
I had to see it.
Obviously.
It was an amazing experience. I could pass through objects. Time became a sphere, and for like 4 hours, I didn't know if I ever met another person or if I made everybody up. And then I went to
great.
bed.
Okay. How many times did you punch baby Jesus in the face?
Never.
Yeah, I miss that ability, because I used to really like that. I used to really like going to that other place.
But
where
it was
you're
by
like-
yourself. Like that's the biggest thing. By myself.
Yeah, well, and I've been on mushrooms alone and enjoyed it. And I've been on mushrooms with people and enjoyed it. And then I've been in both situations where I didn't enjoy it. But yeah, it's probably all the stuff you're saying. And but anyway, I got to pee, and so I'm going to plug and get out of here.
Yeah, it's fine. Real quick, as
I
you're
got to pee so bad.
That's fine.
This is like the stairs at the concert.
Yeah.
You're having fucking a PTSD flashback.
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
real
Start
quick,
pissing
how
into
many
a cup.
podcasts are you doing right now? And don't you have a podcast network as well?
Well, it's called the No Press Network. It's a channel on YouTube that me, Chris DiStefano, and Sal Volcano started together. And we have 2 shows on there. Chris and Sal have a show called Hey Babe. Mm-hmm.
Big show. It's a big show, yeah.
Yeah, and then Sal and I have a show called Taste Buds.
Big show.
And yeah, it's doing well. And Taste Buds is fun. It's usually just going back and forth debating food. But we're on new episodes every Monday for Taste Buds drop on the No Press Network. Hey Babe drops every Thursday. And then I have another podcast called We'll See You in Hell with Pat Walsh and me. Yeah, and that's movie reviews.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And that's fun. That's a lot of fun. So
What kind of movies?
genre movies.
Okay.
It used to be strictly horror. We expanded it then to genre, and now it's like it's mostly genre movies. But sometimes we slip in, like we just did the Banshees of Inisherin or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
Like,
with
that's-
Colin Farrell?
Yeah, that's not really a genre movie, but but it's usually like, we did Violent Night. We're about to do The Menu. It's stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
that's great.
so that's fun, man. That's only the whole back catalog of that is available all over wherever you get podcasts. But the new episodes for a few years now have only been on Patreon at patreon.com/WSYIH podcast.
That's a lot.
I know.
That's a lot to remember.
I know it's hard to remember.
You're a writer. Shorten that up.
It's too late now.
You're still doing the show with Corinne. It's
No.
okay.
No, I haven't done that in a long time. I think she still does it though. Without
She
a country.
does, and I saw it listed, and I didn't know
Yeah.
if you were still popping in or how that worked.
No, I left a long time ago and started doing Taste Buds a little while after that, and then or right around that time, and then Shane Dozer was the host.
Okay.
Wow, I know Shane.
Yeah.
I lived with him in Salt Lake City.
Yeah. Did he always have all those tattoos?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, he used to come over to me in Party Ben's apartment.
I remember Shane. He was the fucking
Party
mic
Ben.
guy at the club,
Yes.
the comedy club.
Yeah, Shane Dozer,
Shit,
man.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
he was-
he's a nice kid.
Love
He's
him.
funny too. But yeah, so anyway, and then I'm on the road like fucking crazy. Like doing this new hour called I Never Promised You a Rose Garden. I'm doing it here
Okay.
all weekend at the Vulcan. I don't know when this comes out, but
Sunday night.
okay. So then you'll be able to catch me next week if you're in New York at Governor's in Long Island doing it. I'm doing a residency in New York of this show once a month at the Crane Theater. The next one's January 25th. One after that is February 14th, Valentine's Day. And then I'm going on the road to festivals. I'm coming back for South by Southwest to do it. I'm doing it at the JFL Vancouver. I'm going on the road to New Orleans, Baton Rouge, all over, man. I'm
where
just
can people buy
back
tickets?
and cracking.
JoeDeRosaInfo.com.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And then last but not least, sorry, I opened a
No,
bar and
not at all.
sandwich shop called Joey Rose
What?
Oh, where?
Where?
in New York.
Where?
We have to go.
He's the
I'm the sandwich king.
He's the sandwich king. Where's
I'm
it
the
at?
liver king. I look different. Dog.
I think he's on next week.
I need to go have a sandwich in a bar.
I'm going to tune
not
into
kidding.
This is it. The
I know,
sandwich
I
in a
know.
bar.
Where out in New York?
We're on, excuse me, we're on the Lower East Side at 174 Rivington Street, Joey Rose's. It's a full-on, sign says Sandwiches and Social Club. It's an old-school LES bar.
Nice.
Cheap drinks, awesome sandwiches. We're open 11:30 a.m. every day, all night.
Corey's
So
wanted to go
come
to
through.
New York City, so this
Yeah.
is my reason to go.
Oh, it's
now.
the best.
Yeah,
Lower
for
East.
sandwiches.
So what's the cross street there?
Clinton is
Okay.
basically the cross street. JoeyRosesNYC.com.
Yeah, it's at Clinton.
Thank
Hell
you for
yeah.
letting me plug all that stuff.
No, of course.
Absolutely.
And real quick here before you piss, we do this thing called the Drinkin' Bro of the Week at the end of the show. Someone who has inspired you or helped you become the person you are today. Who would you like to give the Drinkin' Bro of the Week to?
Wait, I got distracted because I thought I was
Andy?
supposed to name him. No,
you're not naming Andy
no,
Dick.
no.
It just popped up, like the top stories will pop up, and I was unaware that he just got a
Somebody
failure
that-
to register as a sex offender is what he just got arrested for.
Someone you just want to give a shout out to and say thank you.
Yeah.
For being a drinking,
No,
being my
no,
drinking
just
bro?
for being cool to you,
life.
your
just somebody who
career,
helps you in
anything.
your career or anything.
Yeah.
Life,
Oh,
parents,
this fucking place looks good.
brother,
God
sister.
damn.
Yeah. Oh, man, I want to tie it into drinking.
Doesn't have to. Doesn't have to be.
But it could.
You know what?
Brian Singer.
Kid Rock.
I'm gonna shout out. I never met him. I've never met him, but the man has brought me so much comfort when I watch his YouTube clips of interviews. I'm going to shout out Denzel Washington as the person who I most
he's
wish
pretty
I knew so bad. Every time I watch an interview with him, I'm like, I want to know him.
I wanna be that
he
guy's friend.
calms me down. Like,
Yeah.
he's so. Did you ever see his Will Smith retort where he's like, they're like, what happened? And he's like, there's a saying.
Yeah.
The devil's leaving you alone. You're doing something wrong. It's like, my God.
The devil comes for you, your highest moments. Yeah. Okay. The devil comes for you, your
He
highest
talks
moments.
like
Yeah.
a character in his movies.
Okay. Okay, Joe.
Equalizer is the greatest movie ever.
Yeah.
It's so fucking awesome.
No. Man on Fire is
Whatever.
the best.
No,
Of
Man on
all-
Fire's- Training Day.
Of all of his action movies, Man on
Training
Fire is
Day,
the best.
dude.
They're
Joe's
all
got to
great.
piss.
He kills so many
Yeah,
people.
Joe's got a piss.
There's a
You know
sandwich.
what? Shout outs to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
There's a sandwich on your at your store called the Fat Kid, and it's peanut butter and jelly with ruffled potato chips.
Yes.
And it's triple decker.
And you can add long hots to that if you want.
Oh, we're in.
damn it,
We're
dude.
in. Damn it, dude. We're in.
This is a trip.
I actually have a real shout out. I have a real shout out. I'm going to shout out Ari Shafir.
Okay.
I am. Because Ari, over the course of the pandemic, became one of my best friends. I love Ari very much. And Ari is solely responsible for pushing me back into doing stand-up.
That's awesome.
He's one of my favorite guys to drink with ever. So that even ties into that. But he really is truly he is the sole reason that I started. I was kind of done. I was like starting the bar, and I was not really doing anything, and I wasn't taking it very seriously. And he called me one day, and he was like, what are you doing, man? Like, why aren't you doing sets? Like, you can't just not. He's like, come on, man, what do you do? And he like gave me this very passive pep talk, where it almost didn't seem like he was, but he kind of was.
Yeah.
And I told him the other day, I was like, dude, you're like between that and then seeing going to the taping of Jew and seeing that and seeing how good it was, I was like, dude, you're the reason I'm working so hard on my new hour again.
That's awesome.
So like so yes, shout out Sari Shafir.
Awesome. Well, hey, man, we're huge fans. Thank you for coming. You can
Thanks for having
go
me.
piss, dude. Go piss.
Go for it. Go for it.
Check out his shows everywhere. Come back when you're here for South by Southwest. We'd love to have you back.
I need to hear
Please.
it.
In the
need to hear
meantime,
it.
go to a two-shot while he goes to piss.
I need to hear
You're
your
good to go.
Roosevelt.
Oh, yeah. Teddy Roosevelt. You've got a new flavor at Black Rifle Coffee here.
That's the ACS, the exclusive
I have,
coffee.
yeah, the ECS. I have to say, this is all Evan's mastermind. It's fucking hilarious. The ECS is so good this year. He's been trolling and putting on awesome presidents, but also trolling presidents. So the one after this is the We're Not Here roast, which is Richard Nixon in Cambodia riding an ostrich. like, dude, these are amazing. The art, shout out to our art department.
Yeah,
Garrett
I was just going to ask you who did the art, because I love the art.
Look at this.
Who is this, Gary?
Well, it's his team. Yes, Gary is leading it.
So Gary did all of our shit for years and years and years, and I want to actually not only shout out Gary, but you, because look, you get to a certain level in all this shit with companies and everything else, and you kind of decide who you're going to take and who you're going to leave behind. Gary was in from the early stages, and it is awesome.
Been together since 2009.
I was just going to say, it is awesome that you guys have maintained with Gary, because he's a brilliant man, weird guy, super fucking weird, and I love him for that.
Hyper talented people are weird, are they
But
not?
that's what an artist is, right? Like if you think of an artist of like, oh, all right, cool. I've probably had 5 or 6 sentences with Gary, even though I've been next to him for hours and hours.
Hours upon hours. He designed, our
He's
posters.
one
for
of
Range
the best,
15.
dude. This coffee, all these bags you guys do are amazing. Do we still have a promo code for Drinkin' Bro? What's Citizen?
It's Citizen.
Citizen. 20% off?
Yep.
All right, so go to blackriflecoffee.com, use promo code Citizen.
I believe,
for
don't quote me on this.
off.
If I get it wrong, Gary, correct me, but I think it's Grizzly River Art. Grizzly, I think that's who specifically did these bags.
These are dope
But again,
as shit,
Gary is
dude.
is our master creative director. He's running the show. Evan gives him the most insane. You have to understand. Evan walks down shouting the most insane things you've ever heard in your life. I want Richard Nixon riding an ostrich in Cambodia while Cobra helicopters are firing on the tree line. Somebody has to take this and turn it into real things.
Right.
And that's what
Gary's
Gary
the
does.
guy,
He assigns the right artist to it. He gets the product back. He approves it. Gary has been working super hard on all the Walmart products over the past few months. We were able to get products inside Walmart within 6 months of them telling us we're bringing you in.
Yeah. He's also one of those guys where you give him a fucked up idea like this, he will look at you in the face. It'll be a long pause for a minute and a half, and he'll be like, yeah, I can do that. And you're just like, all right, great. And then he executes it. So go to blackriflecoffee.com, promo code CITIZEN for 20% off there. We appreciate you joining us. Go to iTunes, rate the show 5-star, and leave a quick review. Go to Spotify, just a 5-star. They don't have the technology there because they're Swedish. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Greta Thunberg
They're
must
not
run their
tuning into
operation.
COVID. That's what they're doing.
Not sure. But in the meantime, go check out all of Joe DeRosa's stuff. For D'Anthony Holloway, Jared Cat Puke Taylor, I'm Ross Patterson. This is the Drinkin' Bros Podcast, France Press Edition. Good night, everyone.